Hi, I'm inspirational speaker and author Cynthia Elliott, and for this reel, we decided to give you a little taste of my incredible journey. You know, if you'd come to me years ago at St. Peter's Home for Children in Tennessee and told me that one day I would be living large in New York City, working with some of the most famous actors, musicians, and business icons in the world, I might have laughed at you, but you know what? I did it. Here I am a few years back learning the ropes and becoming an official PR pioneer. You know, I founded influencer marketing and some other stuff on my journey and worked with some incredible people. But one day I decided, you know what? It was time for me to glow up my own life. And so I did just that. First, I started a sustainable collection called Intention, and then I came out with a book called Memory Mansion, which was my first bestseller. I started an incredible podcast called Citizen Journalist, and then, of course, my foundation, the Soltech AI Foundation, which teaches AI skills and literacy to underserved communities. And I just kept going from there. I came out with my third book, A New American Dream, and it hit number one in all of its categories. And I have just been incredibly blessed. And you know what all of this experience has done? It's given me a wealth of topics to share with my audiences, whether I'm talking about how to use disruption for incredible business growth, or whether I'm teaching people how to get in the driver's seat of their life experience, or how to raise their human consciousness. I really do cover the gamut. So if you're looking for an incredible speaker, then please get in touch with my team.
Capable of, have those dreams, show up in the energy of that and own it. Because that is how you will draw your dreams to your life experience. And the last one, the fifth way to put yourself in the driver's seat of your life experience is to enhance your human consciousness, raise your human consciousness. So when I wrote my first book, Unleash the Empress, I was looking at this scale and I was like, what the hell am I looking at? And it was Hawkins' scale of consciousness. And I was looking at it and I was like, oh my God, this is a wonderful map for figuring out where the hell you are. At the bottom of the human consciousness scale was shame and guilt. Guess where I was? Yes. I realized in that moment that I had spent the majority of my life living in shame and guilt. That's the survival mode of the human experience. Hawkins' scale of consciousness actually continues to climb. So at the bottom of the scale is shame and guilt. It's anger. It's fear. It's all the 7 deadly sins that lead to the death of the soul. They're all down there. As you start to move through the human consciousness scale, you raise your vibration. See, we're energetic beings. This isn't woo-woo nonsense. It's actually science. We give off an energy signature depending on how we're actually feeling as human beings. So when we're way down here, we're giving off a really bad energy. And as we begin to raise our human consciousness, we begin to move up that scale. And midway through that scale, we start to experience things like intention. And then love. And oh my God, it gets better. Oh my God, you mean your life experience can actually include bliss. And enlightenment is at the very top. When I saw that scale, I was like, oh my God, I actually raised myself from the bottom and I kept going. And I understood that I actually had come up with a way to help people raise their human consciousness, which is why I believe it is the answer to the mental health crisis. Because raising your human consciousness it does not matter what country you're from. It does not matter what religion you were raised in. It does not matter what language you speak. It does not matter what family you have. It doesn't matter what technology you have access to. Raising your human consciousness is a thought process. So I came up with the reality wheel. So here's the reality wheel. Our thought habits create our life experience. Our thought habits are actually at the root of our energetic experience. So our thought habits are gifted to us by our family, our churches, our communities, but mostly it's our family. It's what we see when we're most young, and it becomes the patterns of our conscious and subconscious behavior that actually create our life experience. And guess what? We get really addicted to the most unhealthy energies. We get addicted to the really unhealthy thought habits. It's an understanding that our thought habits create our mental state. Our thought habits are actually at the root of our mental state. Our mental state creates our emotional state. Our emotional state is energy in motion. Energy in motion. Emotion. That creates a frequency and vibration. That frequency and vibration is the lived experience that you're having in any given moment. When you understand that you hold the reality wheel, you're the only person that can hold it. You're not a victim of what happens outside of you. You're a victim of what you choose to do inside of you. When you realize that you hold the reality wheel, you go, holy moly, my thought habits, you can actually change your thought habits. You can proactively practice it altering your life experience. When you recognize that you hold the wheel and you decide to switch out your toxic thought habit patterns, your patterns and habits, most of them you've inherited, some of them you chose. When you begin to switch those out for healthy thought habits, your mental state becomes empowered. It's a mindset. Your emotional state becomes beautiful. And guess what? That generates a frequency and vibration that is beautiful. And you know what you get more of from the universe? What you're actually resonating at. So if you are giving off a beautiful frequency and vibration, you get more of that from the universe. If you are in negative frequency and vibration, you get more of that. You are actually in command of your reality wheel. So get your hands on that wheel. Choose to switch out your toxic thought habits for healthy thought habits. Generate a beautiful mindset, a beautiful emotional experience, and a beautiful frequency and vibration. And you will be the most effective human being that you can be, because we are all connected to each other. And when you are living the most beautiful life you can, you're sharing that with your fellow man. Our understanding. Historically, the greatest moments in American history have come during massive shifts, like huge change. And huge change affords us the ability to make changes within the change. And it was in that realization, it's like, well, okay, we're undergoing massive change. Are we going to do what we did in 2000? Because I was here in New York City in 2000 working, and I watched as most of us stood by going, oh, look, it's the internet era. Look at all the cool stuff going on. And the problem was a handful of companies really benefited from that, and the average person did not. And it was in thinking about that, I was like, wait a minute. We're in the throes of the AI revolution, and we have this moment to get ahead of that, to be the people, we the people, saying, you know what, we're not going to let the government decide this. We're not going to let regulations, which take 10 years to actually come around, and by the time they do, they don't fit anything. We as the people can actually say, hey, if we're about to undergo massive change, we would like it to actually benefit the people. And how does that actually happen? And it's by our awareness, our ability to have conversations about it, and us saying, you know what, we're not cool with this, because we didn't do that. I remember writing a post that got me banned on Facebook and Twitter for years, because I was telling people that their phones were being used to spy on them, and people said, that sounds like a conspiracy theory. And I was like, no, that's actually based in fact, because I've read the documents that go along with it as an agency owner. And so now we've entered the age of AI. We're tiptoeing into it, and we have this precious 2 years. As a futurist, I'm saying we probably have 2 years to catch this. We can reignite the American dream for our country. We can bring in new jobs. We can bring production back. We can bring manufacturing back. We can reignite things. We can actually inspire our younger generations. And we can become independent again, because one thing I do not like about what I have watched happen in this country is that we have become dependent on other countries to function. And it does not matter how much you want to love and care for other countries. If you cannot function as a country without being able to import things, like, for example, during the closures, we are no longer capable of functioning on our own. And that is where we find ourselves in 2024, a country that is watching more jobs leave, more industry not crop up here because it's cheaper to do elsewhere. And in thinking about all of that, I realized that we can fix so many of the issues that we have in this country by jumping on the fourth industrial revolution and saying, you know what, if everything is going to change, we're going to change everything. Right. We're going to care about other people, we'll care about other countries, but you know what, if your cup is not full, you cannot pour over into other people. And we are thirsty as a country. We need jobs, we need industry, we need production, we need to be proud of things, we need to become an exporter of things and not just a country that imports crap. And it's all of that made me realize how much we could change. I'm sorry, I'm getting really passionate here.
You sound like you should be running for office.